Hi team. Just wanted to give you a bit of a few tips around finding good quality information. So as you should know, the assessment 3, a big component of that is that you are able to support whatever you say with good information and with good evidence. Now, we've done a bit of work of that in class, but for those of you that weren't there and just those of you that need reminding, I'm going to go through a few ideas of how you can find that good quality information. So as you can see on my screen, this is a graph that I used in class, or a model rather. So if you're trying to figure out, okay, how can I find good info or good evidence to support the recommendations that I'm making, where do I go? Now it's the same question that I ask myself when I'm trying to find information for your classes. I don't make up the information. I haven't researched it all myself. I haven't created the research. But what I do is that I go out and I find the research that has been done, and then I pull out the good stuff and I see how it's relevant to the topics we're talking about, and then that is what I talk to you about. And that's what you need to do as well. So I've kind of roughly categorize things into 5 areas. So if we look at firstly national organizations. So national organizations are good places to find some good quality information. So if we open up here, national organizations can be places like the Heart Foundation. We use this in an activity that we did in class. If you click on well-being, you can see they've got things around healthy eating, which you might want to refer to when you're talking about your particular cases. You can see they've got things around nutrition facts or a guide to eating for a healthy heart. Now, one of the cases, I'm not going to tell you which one, but one of the cases is a lot about general health and about lowering risk factors for certain diseases. One of the diseases relating to your heart. So this can be a good resource to use if you're wanting to find evidence for the suggestions that you make. The Heart Foundation or other national organisations. Sport New Zealand is another one. So this is the Sport New Zealand website, and I've come to the 16-year adult participation trends. So if you want to find out some information about how active people are, you can find that information on this particular website. So if you're trying to figure out and describe the characteristics of certain types of people, you might want to talk about their physical activity characteristics, how active they are. You might not have that information yourself, but you can look on Sport NZ and you can click on the trends report, and it'll take you to this particular report. And basically, it's just got a whole lot of information about how active New Zealanders are. You can look into actual ethnicity. So if you want to look at Māori, if you want to look at Pacific, you can find all that information. If you want to find age groups, you can find a summary and some specific detail as to their physical activity levels. So that's just a few examples. There's other organisations such as Health Ed. You know it's a legit organisation because it says in the bar at the top, healthed.govt.nz, which means that this organisation and this website is managed by a government agency. Because it's managed by a government agency, we know that it's going to be pretty legit. So that's a good option for finding good quality information. These links, you can find them yourself, or I've also posted a few of these on our Moodle page under the resource centre. So that's national organisations. The other place that you can look is journal articles from good journals. Journal articles are fantastic because they are up to date and they're relevant. So people, academics and researchers all the time are publishing new research, things that they have proven, and they write it up in journal articles. A good way to find these journal articles is through Google Scholar. So you can see here it says scholar.google.com or .co.nz. So here basically you can find these journal articles. You just type in what you want to look for. So for instance, if we want to know about is it safe for youth to strength train, we can write in strength training and young athletes, and we'll see what it comes back with. Oh, here you go. It's given us a whole lot of journal articles and even books related to that topic. So let's look at the first one, because usually it tries to list them in terms of relevance. The ones near the top are quite likely to be more what you're looking for. So this one here, resistance training among young athletes, safety, efficacy, and injury prevention effects. Like, that sounds pretty good. So you can click on that, and it will take you to the journal article. And what you can do is you can just read the abstract. The abstract is just kind of like the overview, like a summary. So you can read that and go, hey, they've got some information that's relevant to what I'm looking for. If so, great. Use that information and reference it. You can also click on the PDF if you want to read the full version of the article. Often the abstract is enough, but if you want some more in-depth info, click on the PDF and you can kind of, it'll take you to being able to see the full article. So that's Google Scholar, okay? You just type in what you're wanting to look for. University publications. Now you will remember in class that we talked a lot about ACSM, which stands for the American College of Sports Medicine. Now these guys are kind of like the gurus of sport medicine and performance and strength and conditioning. So they are a great source for easy to find good quality information. Some of the things that you can find on their website is sport medicine basics. So you can see there's some basic topics here which they've got some things around. Again, there's youth strength training. You can click on that and it'll take you to a nice little summary about youth strength training. It's got a bunch of other topics here too that you can look into if you want. It's got weight loss, it's got women's heart health. If you look at that and go, oh, none of that looks relevant, that's fine. There are other sections, such as the section where you can search for articles based on the topic. Okay, and if you look here, see there's a whole lot of things. There's strength training for women. There's all sorts. Exercise for everybody. I know you just got to go through it and have a look and see if there's any of this that is relevant to your case and the kind of recommendations that you're wanting to make. So you just got to have a look through and see what is relevant. There's a lot of good things here. There's obesity and exercise. So if your case has got something to do with losing weight, then there might be some good information in there. Improving flexibility and balance, that may or may not be relevant to yours. So have a look through here and see if there's anything that is of interest. There's a few others from the ACSM. They have position stands, which is basically their overview of what they believe about a certain topic, about key topics. So you might want to look into nutrition and athletic performance. So you might be doing one of the cases that's all about performance and you want to know about how nutrition might play a part. Click on that and it'll take you to their position statement. Now these are a lot bigger, but again, you can just read the abstract and get the overall feeling for what the article is about, and you can use that. You don't have to read the whole thing, or you can just kind of look through and pick out the key points. But have a look through it and go, oh, this is what they say about athletic performance. This is how it relates to my case, and you can just reference that information. The last thing I'll show you from ACSM is their brochures. Again, their brochures are just kind of like nicely collated information about certain topics. So you might want to know about high intensity interval training. Click on that because you might be wanting to make a recommendation about it. So click on that and see what it says about high intensity interval training, and you can use that as evidence or as research and theory to support your recommendations. So ACSM is a great website to use to get this information. Textbooks. So looking at the blue circle there, textbooks are great because they're quite easy to find the info. It's all right in that one book. You don't have to search for ages online. I have recommended in our course outline some recommended texts. Now you can find this course outline on Moodle. I've recommended one about key concepts in sport and exercise sciences. There's one related to psychology and there's one related to nutrition. So check out these books and especially that first one. You can have a look, you can find it at the library and it's got some good general information relating to all sorts of things to do with sport and exercise sciences. So you can use that as evidence and just reference the book. That's quite a good, easy way to find some good quality information. The last source of information that I'm going to talk about is government and government agencies. And so generally you can find information from there online in their websites. So if you open up their, this one here, this is not what we want, but if you have a look on their websites, this, for instance, the Ministry of Health website, which is health.govt.nz, you can find a lot of information. If you're looking at the Ministry of Health, generally it's more about public health because they're looking at the general health of New Zealand, not necessarily for performance. But if your case is to do with general health, you can have a look. And under your health, you can see there's a few tabs such as healthy eating. So you can use this for evidence to help you with your recommendations. And if you go to that same place, you can see there's also physical activity. So you might click on that, have a look at what are some of their recommendations around physical activity. You should also be pretty familiar with the eating and activity guidelines, which is also comes from the Ministry of Health. And you can use that as evidence to support your recommendations and what you discuss. Yeah, so that's a pretty good summary for you about different places that you can go to find good information. Remember, if it's from a blog site, it is not suitable for using as a reference. It may be informative, which is okay just for you personally, but to use it as fact or as theory or as evidence, it needs to be more legit than that. So please don't use blogs. Be careful of anything with a .com because generally that it's not necessarily a legitimate source. I'd encourage you to be using things with a .govt or .org because it is more likely to come from a legitimate source. Non-journal articles are generally good, like we said, from universities and textbooks, because generally you need to be pretty onto it if you're going to be publishing a textbook. You don't have rubbish that is published in a textbook, which is why textbooks, can be quite a good, easy source of legit information. If you have any questions or are unsure about how to find good info, let me know. But otherwise, get hunting, find good quality info. You don't have to find a heck of a lot. Just find a few good key sources that can help support all the different claims that you're making in your assessment. That is a key part of it. To do it well, it's also a really good skill for you continuing as a student and learning to be a professional. It's about knowing how to find good quality information. Hope that helps. Good luck with your assessment.